This is my spoiler review for Jurassic World Rebirth. If you haven't seen Jurassic World Rebirth, go ahead and leave now so you don't get spoiled for you. But here we go, this is my spoiler review. As all of you know, I have been hyping up this movie for a long time now, and for me, it was totally worth the wait. I absolutely loved it. The plot and the story of this movie was great. I really liked this plot and story. However, when it comes to Jurassic movies, you can only do so much with a plot and a story. I really liked this storyline with them getting DNA from the 3 biggest dinosaurs in order to create a cure for heart disease. I really liked that plot. I thought that was great, and the story was really good, and I personally really enjoyed that. The CGI looked great. I really liked the CGI. If you guys think the CGI didn't look great, well, that makes no sense because these were all filmed on location in Thailand and many other really tropical, cool places that the cast went to and actually filmed there. The dinosaurs looked great with the CGI, especially the river raft scene, the Mosasaurus, the Spinosaurus. All the CGI looked great. I simply won't understand if someone doesn't think it looked great. I think it looked awesome, and it was a breath of fresh air for the Jurassic franchise. I thought it was awesome. Absolutely loved it. A lot of people have been saying that they don't care about these characters at all and that they have no depth. Why? Zor was great. Henry was great. Duncan was great. Martin was a freaking asshole. But you know what? These characters were awesome. I loved these characters. I don't understand how people don't like these characters. You just met them. Of course, you're not going to know them right away. There's this thing called character development, and character development is grown by having a trilogy. So if this is a trilogy, if they return to this franchise, then they will have character development in the next movies. However, if it's a standalone movie, I understand that. But then again, these characters are great. Scarlett Johansson's awesome. Jonathan Bailey's awesome. Mahershala Ali is awesome. Such great characters. And you're not going to know all about these characters because there's a lot. And yeah, I get there shouldn't be too many characters. But it was great because I feel like it was really well balanced. And you got to know them in their personal life a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. And you can only do so much when it comes to a 2-hour movie. So I get where people are coming from, but I loved the characters. Personally, I loved the characters. And you know, when it comes to Jurassic movies, there's always going to be those characters that are there because they're meant to die. And you know, those deaths were very tragic and very sad for their friends to see them getting eaten in front of them. It was horrifying. But that's who those characters are meant to be. That is their purpose. They are meant to die in these movies because in Jurassic movies, death always has to happen. You cannot have a Jurassic movie without death, and I think they did this perfectly with knowing these characters are not all going to make it out of here alive, and I think they did that very well with knowing, hey, they're all getting kind of offed one by one, and you have to predict who's going to go next. And I thought that was good. The deaths were brutal. Oh my goodness, the deaths were very brutal in my opinion. A lot of the Jurassic movies have shown deaths off screen, just knowing that, hey, they just died. Then you don't have to show much, and I think that makes it even scarier, to be honest. But that's just my opinion. I thought the deaths were brutal. Anyway, deaths were brutal, characters were awesome, and the deaths were absolutely brutal. Acting was awesome. I love Scarlett Johansson so much. I love Mahershala Ali, and I love Jonathan Bailey. I really want these characters to return, so fingers crossed that we get a trilogy with these 3 characters because this is the Jurassic trio. This is the new Jurassic trio, and I want to see them return. I loved the acting in this movie. The family did a great job too, as well as the side characters. I thought everybody in this movie did phenomenal. This was such a good movie, and I'm really glad that all of them came in and worked so hard at this and made this such a good movie with their amazing acting. The cinematography was also beautiful. This is probably one of the most beautiful Jurassic movies we've had in so long, with the amazing cinematography, especially with the ocean, the jungle, the red. There was so much red and it was perfect. Very scary elements for that, and I really liked that, especially with the distorted Rex, or as we know, the D-Rex. I thought that was super good, and I think the cinematography of this movie was awesome, as well as the score. The music was awesome. They really outdone themselves with using the amazing original score for Jurassic Park, and bringing that into this movie was just absolutely perfect, and I love the way they included that in a lot of the scenes. Not just one scene, but a lot of the scenes. That was awesome. What I loved about this movie too is that the dinosaurs all got their amount of screen time, perfectly balanced screen time for the dinosaurs. They each got their moment. The Spinosaurus and the Mosasaurus had their moment on the boat, and they just attacked the boat, and they all had to figure out a way to get out of there. And then the T-Rex had the river raft scene, the D-Rex had the ending scene. They all had their moments, and I think that that was really cool because you got to see all of these dinosaurs in their own moments in the movie, and I thought that was great. One thing I will say about this movie, thank God the raptors were not in this movie. They were barely in this movie. Honestly, thank God they got rid of the raptors because, let's be real, The raptors have been in every single Jurassic movie, and that's fine. But I felt like we needed to take a break from the raptors, and I think it was great that we got to take a break from the raptors and see other dinosaurs shine in this movie, like the Spinosaurus, the T-Rex, and the new distorted Rex. I thought that was great. However, would it be cool to see raptors? Yeah, absolutely. But I'm glad they didn't focus so much on the raptors like the previous movies had done. And I thought it was great that we got to see more mutated dinosaurs, the Spinosaurus, the T-Rex. I thought that was great. The Velociraptors are super cool, but I'm personally happy that they cut them from the movie, because I think that it would have been a little much to have the raptors in there. Yes, they're well known for the Jurassic franchise. I understand that. But I feel like we need to take a break from the raptors because they're used so much all the time. If they decide to make a trilogy and bring in the raptors in the second and third movie, sure, that's fine. But it's just nice to have this balance of, hey, we're taking a little bit of a break from the raptors and moving on with these other dinosaurs. I think that's cool. And all the dinosaurs in the movies had a perfect amount of screen time, so I thought that was great. Personally, I think that was a smart choice, and I thought it was great that they moved away from the raptors for just a little bit. If they decide to bring them back, cool. If not, that's okay. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Other than the opening scene, the beginning of this movie was a little slow paced and it was a little hard to get it going, but after they're on the boat, that's when things pick up, and I thought that was great. I really hope they make a trilogy out of this, because one question I have for the end of this movie is, how the hell did Duncan survive the D-Rex? That didn't make sense to me, but you know what? I'm really hoping that they make a trilogy out of this, and we find out how he escaped and how he survived, and how it went when they bring back the DNA to use it for heart disease. How did that go? Did it go well? Did they get it out there for everybody to use? Did they save lives using that DNA? That's what I would like to know if they make a sequel. Hopefully they make a sequel. I really hope that they make a trilogy out of this. Anyway, overall, I've been waiting so long for this movie, and it was totally worth the wait. Jurassic World Rebirth is a 9 out of 10. You gotta go see it. Ignore the critics' reviews. Ignore the Rotten Tomatoes scores. Ignore the negative reviews. It's a great movie. Go see Jurassic World Rebirth. This has been my spoiler review.